I'm starting to put some clips together for a short video here of what the garden looks like in early June, starting with a couple of still shots here to remind you of what this area looked like. On the left, all you see is radish plants, and on the right are my beets. Well, I have harvested all of the radish, which, if you remember, I planted the radish seeds in with the carrots just so they would break the soil open and the carrots would be able to get up quicker. Well, I have harvested them all, as I said, and this particular photo here of radish is the harvest that I got from one of the 3 rows. They were fantastic. I still have a bag full of them in the crisper in the refrigerator that I'm using in salads. Well, the next shot that I will show you is that same bed today to show you what it looks like. Well, this is what that bed looks like now. On the left, as you see, are the carrots that are pretty good germination. I don't think I'll have to do any thinning. After all, the radish were removed and they were there as they were supposed to be anyway. I planted 2 varieties. One is a seed that I'd had for several years, a pelletized seed called Napoli, and the other was a gift from Sandra, a yellow carrot. So it remains to be seen what I've got growing there. The pelletized seed was so old, I don't know how much germination I might have got. On the right is what is supposed to be 3 rows of beets, and it's looking like one massive row right now. I've been letting them grow quite a bit before I thin them because I love beet greens. I suspect sometime within the next week I'll do a major thinning and have beet greens with my dinner. My palette grown, well, I was going to say lettuce, but I guess it's more a salad mixture. I do see some spinach in there, and I can't remember what they called the other item that could be in there on the list of different things that were on the seed packet. But I do see mostly lettuce, I guess, yellow and green and red varieties. I haven't actually harvested any yet. I'm waiting for it to get a little bigger. I hope it doesn't bolt before I get around to harvesting it. I've picked and munched on a few leaves while I'm out here. It's very tasty. My corn I'm very pleased with so far anyway. I don't think it'll be as high as your eye by the 4th of July. It's got to be a good 18 inches or so there now. And possibility of it being as high as your eye because it's in a raised bed. It's a good 1.5 feet or so off the ground before it started growing. But very nice. I like the way it's looking. I hope the coons leave it alone and I actually get to try some of this corn later on. The onions are continuing to grow well. I'm having difficulty keeping them pried of the soil, or above the soil. The bulb, they're not supposed to be below. Every time I water, it seems to me that I cover them back over again, but I'm keeping at it. Some of them are looking knocked over there right now because I did try last evening to get them out of the soil again, and that sort of weakens their support, I guess, but working on it and seeing what happens. And I'm also not certain how many onions and how many are shallots. It was 2 little packets of seeds that I mixed, and I know I have 2 different sort of things in there, so I'm thinking there might even be more shallots than onions. This is my row of 10-gallon containers. 2 of them have pumpkins, 2 have butternut squash, 2 have buttercup squash, and on the far end there are 2 zucchinis. They call it a summer squash, noce, a summer squash, but I've grown it before. As far as I'm concerned, it's a zucchini. It looks just like any other zucchini. On the left are 2 containers of potatoes. I had 3 seed potatoes in each of those 10-gallon pots, and 3 came up in one of them, and the one closest to me here, which seems to have more growth than anything else, I only had 2 of the potatoes germinate as near as I could tell. They were all looking fine when I put them in there, other than when they arrived by mail they had quite long sprouts on them, but Didn't let that bother me. I planted them and they came up anyway. And on the right are the peas, which are getting taller, but I'm still not seeing any blossoms yet. And behind the peas are my runner beans. Two varieties this year, mostly giant Greek white runner bean, and I also had some scarlet runner bean seeds left over, but they are doing really good and starting to send out runners to hang on to those bamboo poles, we hope anyway. We're in the greenhouse, and what I'm trying to show you in that shot is a tomato blossom. I really think it's early even for in the greenhouse. I'm not positive, but I don't think I've ever seen them start to bloom this early. That particular variety is Manitoba, which is an early variety, a determinate, so that might be the reason why. But I also have flowers on Gardener's Sweetheart and the grape tomato that I started by slicing up a grape tomato and putting it on soil to get seedlings. They aren't open yet, but they've got clusters of blossom buds as well. And this is the top of one of the 3 or 4 carrots that overwintered in here and started growing again, well, way before our last frost. That is a blossom bud. Not in bloom yet, but it's going to be. Another week or two, I guess. And that's probably 2.5, 3 feet tall. And that's one particular one has got several blossom buds on it, and the other ones are still shorter, but I see blossom buds on some of them as well. I'm very pleased with the quarantine, the the European gherkin cucumbers, which I'm trying to get to grow up an obelisk here. They haven't got anything on them yet, any tendrils to hang on, but they're all doing very well. I have 3 of them in here. I have hopes this year that they won't take over the greenhouse. The 2 mystery plants that turned out to be rutabagas are doing well. I keep them watered. They do tend to wilt a bit in the daytime, but turnips are a member of the brassica family, and if you can see some of those leaves that are looking quite lacy, I think we have had a cabbage moth in here laying her eggs. Thankfully there's nothing else in here that the cabbage moth would be interested in, and hopefully I'll have enough green leaves that I'll still get some rutabagas out of this. I think I have 5 of the jalapenos in here. It's supposed to be an early, mild variety. And I do see blossom buds on all of them, but so far I haven't seen one that has bloomed out yet. I'm trying an experiment just for the fun of it. I have several of these square beds in here that are vacant this year. I have some chili pepper seeds. This particular one I grew last year or the year before. It's called Lemon Drop. And then another one that I'm growing in another bed here is Tabasco. I think Tabasco was seed that Sandra gave me this spring. I planted them just direct seeds in, they've been in there about 3 days or so. It usually takes 10 days or so for peppers to germinate. I'm just curious as to whether I can plant them in here from seed, and before we get our first frost, whether or not I can get some peppers out of it. So time will tell. I had a lot of fun giving away my excess seedlings. Several people benefited from it, and I hope they have good luck growing them. One lady who got seed from me wanted to know if she could give me something in return, and I said, well, it isn't the idea here. I just wanted to get rid of these seedlings, but she said she had eggplant, some extra eggplant, and would I like to try that. So I accepted the offer. I have great trepidation. I worry about this now because I'm not very good at growing eggplant. 1 year, 2 or 3 years ago, I did grow a thing that was called a Turkish eggplant or something, kind of orangey striped, but smaller than a tennis ball, and I didn't really care for them. This is a Japanese variety. My phone just shut down on me, said it was too hot. I had to take it outside and cool it off. It is hot in here, but I didn't think it was that hot. Anyway, it's a Japanese variety, and it's green when it's ripe. I will try to pronounce it, but Shiromaru, something like that, S-H-I-R. Anyway, the seed came from Baker Creek, so it's an open pollinated heirloom variety. And time will tell what I get out of it, I guess. Well, that will conclude this little video. I'll shut this down and get it uploaded.